I had a lot of doubts, and questioning my life choices. Like maybe pen testing is not for me, or maybe it's too difficult, or maybe I'm too old, or like I don't know, I'm not smart enough. And I had all of those thoughts, but ultimately, I know I can make it happen for myself, and I'm smart and I'm capable. And maybe sometimes I will not understand something straight away, but I will watch the video or read more, and then I will understand it and it will click for me eventually.
Welcome to the Phillip Wylie Show. Take a look behind the curtain of professional hacking and hear compelling discussions with guests from diverse backgrounds who share a common curiosity and passion for challenges and their job. And now, here's your host, offensive security professional, educator, mentor, and author, Phillip Wylie.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Phillip Wylie Show. Today I'm joined by Dorota Kozlowska. We got to meet for the first time at DEF CON last year. We've been connected for a while, and Dorota works in offensive security, does some really cool stuff, as well as being a podcaster. She has a live streamed podcast that she does. And so this is going to be a fun episode because one of the things I love to discuss outside of just cybersecurity, offensive security, is discuss content creation. Whenever I always have a chance to have a guest on that does content creation, it makes it a little more fun because after talking about cybersecurity for so many years, it's kind of nice to be able to talk about some other things from time to time. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Familiar with your country is there's a lot of good powerlifters that come out of your country. I used to compete in powerlifting, so just seeing some of the different powerlifters that's come out of that area has been pretty interesting.
It's actually an interesting area because a lot of men actually do spend a lot of time at the gym, and so yeah, maybe it's like a natural place to have those people emerge.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, different regions, because being in powerlifting, just seeing the different regions and how popular strength sports are in those different regions, just like also like in Romania and Bulgaria, powerlifting is very popular there as well as Russia. So it's interesting to see some of those European countries that the sport was so popular in. So before we get started too much further, if you wouldn't mind sharing your hacker origin story, kind of how you got started and what you're doing today.
Well, that's going to be a long story, I guess. So yeah, so I will go back in time till I was in high school. So it's let's go back 20 years. And I wanted to study computer science, but I was told society and my family, my surrounding, people around me told me, okay, you're a woman. It's only men there. Maybe you shouldn't go there because you will not manage and you're not great with math as well. So I kind of I didn't have a lot of confidence when I was a teenager. So I believe those people they have their good interests in mind, and I wanted to study economics. And turns out on every year of economics there was 2 or 3 mathematical subjects that yeah I was struggling with, to be honest. But I was thinking oh, I could go to computer science and do the same thing. But fast forward, I graduated from economics, and at the same time I also were going through management and marketing because I like to study, and I guess one was not enough for me. I don't know. And then I worked for around 8 years for local government in Poland. I was accounting European Union funds, and for 1 year I was also working in a investor's office. I was trying to pull out investors to our region, Podlaskie, and help my city as well. But yeah, those 8 years I started to figure out I wanted to study computer science. I'm not really living my own life. It's a life that other people designed for me, like my mom or society, people around me. And I'm not happy. And the job at the government is something that you work there till you die, pretty much. So it's so stable. It's yeah, it's why would you leave, right? So I thought, okay, if that's my life, I hate it already, and it's 8 year. So yeah, what do I do about it? Because it's that thought scares me a bit, and I started thinking about it. I went abroad for a year to clear my head. So I was in the Netherlands for half a year and then half a year in UK, Bristol. And yeah, I started asking myself questions like when I was away and like not working with my brain anymore, like not accounting, and I could do something like I was doing photography, for example, and was asking myself questions, oh, what do I like, who I am as a person, questions like that. So I never asked those questions to myself before. So it was kind of like transformational. And I figured out, okay, I wanted to do computer science. I wanted to, like, my perfect job was hacker slash programmer kind of a person, because I thought that's the coolest with like pop culture and like movies I watched. And pretty much at the same time, Mr. Robot got released. So I started watching that, and like it was assuring me into, okay, I'm on the right path. This is what I really want to do. So I started like looking how to enter IT at first. So I found software testing. I got certified with that. I got a first job. And when they called me that I got accepted as a manual tester, functional at first, but it was not government anymore. So I was going home and crossing the street, and like when I picked up the phone and they told me, "Oh, you're hired," I started crying, because I was like, "Okay, I'm finally like making my putting my life on the right tracks, how it should be, and not like living a miserable life that I really hate." So it's like going to be difficult, going to be a long road, but I'm finally like making my first step. So yeah, I was working kind of like maybe too detailed for that, but I wanted to like explain how I got into here. So I worked as a manual tester for 1 year, and I was always was like very ambitious. I loved to study, and I saw other testers that were like clicking and like testing functionalities for web pages for like 8 years or more. And I already felt like I lost 8 years of my life like in the government. So I don't want to click on pages for 8 years. I want to learn more. And so I wanted to learn automation, to automate those tests with Java and Selenium. And I asked my employer, okay, is that possible if I could learn that at the job? And they said, no, you will just click the pages. You will be a manual tester. And I said, okay, so then I will go and do that somewhere else. And I sometimes have that moment when I very like spontaneously ask a question that sometimes is maybe rhetorical, and I don't really expect anyone to answer the question. But when I like heard from my employer what they said, like there's no future for me at this place, I asked a question: how do I get certified with manual as a tester? Functional, like official certification, and learn automating in a month. So learn to code in Java and like Selenium, all that. And I was, yeah, it was kind of like rhetorical, kind of like a crazy question, because a month sounds like not a long time for doing those things. But I got a private message from someone on that. It was like testing, like a group on Facebook, and someone from that group texted me private information and said, send your CV here because we are hiring and we will teach you that. And I was like, oh, wow, that's like amazing. So I went to work there for a year, and I was like automating, learning Java and all that. Like before I mentioned that I was in the Netherlands, and I met a headhunter, and she told me, okay, you need 2 years of experience in IT and you can come here and look for a job. And so I had 2 years already, like 1 year with manual, 1 year with automation. So I went to the Netherlands to look for a job, and I got hired on Basic Fit, where I was pretty much a lead tester, because I was testing everything, but not security yet. But so performance, like IP tests, like all kinds of functional stuff and I work closely with a team of developers. So that was also pretty cool, because I learned how to communicate with developers, how to negotiate, and explain that, oh, this is a bug, I want you to fix this, and I don't have like bad intentions here. I'm not here to be mean to you. I have the same like goal of making the page a good quality product. So it was like a good experience. And then at the same time, I remember, like, yeah, I really wanted to be like more security based. And on every book about testing I read, at the end was a chapter about pen testing. I thought, okay, this is a challenge. This is looks like something difficult. I want to try. And so at the same time, I started going to Hack the Box meetup in the Netherlands. There was also WICA, Women in Cybersecurity Association, a meetup for women in cybersecurity. So the meetup for women was a pretty low entry point for everyone. We were just chatting, giving ourselves support, but the Hack the Box was really high level. And at first I didn't understand a lot what was happening, but I was taking notes and researching later to be better and to learn what they were doing, because I wanted to do it too. And I started also then learning with Try Hack Me, and I started Googling also how to be a pen tester, what job advertisements were there, what requirements on the job advertisements they want. So that was my point of trying to find my way into the industry, and what do they demand, what certification do they need. And I saw CompTIA Security Plus coming through the job advertisements a lot, and also CISSP. And so maybe I started learning cybersecurity with CISSP course, and I finished the full course. I had notes glued to my walls to remember the CA triad, and all of the things that they were teaching in the course. And then at the end, I saw, okay, I want to go after the exam. And probably I should have done that before I started learning the course, but I don't feel it was a wasted time because I learned a lot. And I found out okay, this certification is for management and not for beginners. And I have to have years of experience and people that would vouch for me that I'm a specialist. And yeah, I'm yeah, they trust me and stuff like that. So okay, I don't have those people. I just entered. I don't really know anyone, but so maybe not this certification, but the second one was CompTIA Security Plus. So I started learning that actually with IT Pro TV. I went through most of their courses because they're amazing and learn a lot. And at the same time, try Hack Me and started to build my muscle memory and like do the labs and try to understand them, create notes for myself. And then I said, okay, I have certification. I learned a lot on the labs. I know this, and this. So maybe it's time for me to send my CV. And so I wrote with the angle that I want to be a penetration tester, what I already know. And I started getting accepted to job interviews. And on one of I had pretty much at the beginning was the same experience, three men looking at me from above, and we don't know, maybe you're too junior, something like that. But from those interviews, what I gained was at the end, I always ask them, oh, what do you think I could improve to be better on my next interview? What do you think I could learn next to actually get accepted on my next interview? And I asked a lot of questions, and also the question that they asked me, I wrote down, although I didn't know the answer. But I then researched it for myself and learned those things. So next time someone asked me those same question, I already knew the answer. So kind of was going to interviews to rehearse landing the job. Actually, that's how I see it. And on one of the VCAM meetups, I already mentioned, there was a meetup that with my next employer, and I started asking questions, and they liked me. There was so active and invited me. One thing led to another. We had some correspondence exchanged, but one thing led to another, and they hired me because I showed them that I am passionate. I really want to be a pen tester. It's not something that, I just I'm saying. It's you can really tell that I really want it. So I worked there for almost 3 years. At first in the Netherlands, they didn't really have technical projects for me, but I found out that in the Polish team, they have one of the best teams teaming and pen testing in Europe, one of 3. And so I thought, okay, so I already work for this company. Why not move in the same company, but to the different country? And I contacted them. They said, okay, we are interested. We have a spot for you. But they pretty much interviewed me like I was coming from outside. So really grilled me and like asked me all the difficult questions. But I got hired like on week like pretty much one. I was already testing on projects doing web tests with like another person. So at first more shadowing that like actually testing, but it was like a team effort at first. So yeah, I was like really happy because I was waiting a year in the previous branch, and like I was like really, yeah, let's do this. And then I got hired like after those 3 years. uh I have to mention something before. I received an award in Paris from sepsis as uh a cyber woman of hope, 2023. And on the gala, I met people from Yogosha, a bug bounty company, and they like approached me and like asked me, "Oh, maybe you want to do bug bounty for us? Like maybe like promote us more." And I said, "Yeah, can I do that?" Because I was still working for Accenture, but I said. I already knew that I want to leave, and they said. So I asked them, "Oh, maybe, but do you maybe have a job for me because I would be interested in working for you guys?" And I felt like that company is like really cool and like something that I want to do next. And so they like one thing led to another. They hired me as a success hacker manager. I worked there for 3 years, but it was like an unfortunate moment because they lost an investor, so they had to let me go. So I didn't really like show a lot of what I can do there, but it was a good experience, and I learned something from a different angle, like not from like a bug bounty, but like a person that manages those bug bounty people and like triage all that stuff. So it was an interesting experience altogether. And then I was looking for a job for a while, so I had a lot of creative energy and didn't know where to put it. And I remember, okay, I wanted to start a podcast for like 3 years already, but I always felt like, oh, I'm not ready. I don't have the right gear. I don't have the perfect camera. I don't have the podcaster microphone. I don't have this. I don't have that. And I was like, like saying, like trying to gaslight myself into not starting the podcast. But then I said, okay, I have time on my hands. I have a lot of energy. Let's start. And like, and I wanted to do it in a way I'm going to record on like a potato quality camera with like a microphone from my headphones. Pretty much start with the things that I had on my hand and then work higher and like make it better as I go. Because I knew that if I will like wait for like a perfect moment, perfect microphone, perfect dip, I will gaslight myself and it will take 10 years more. So I just had to push myself into starting. And at first I was terrified because I was terrified of public speaking, but I did it on purpose to force myself into like being better and like being better at talking and not being anxious anymore with like public speaking and like being on camera and being on the stage. And so, yeah, that was like I'm really proud of myself that I did that. And so then I started the podcast. I was already going on conferences, and besides Krakow, I met John Strand, Black Hills. I went through one of their offensive courses and was like one of the best I ever had with Steve Borsch. And so I was like blown away, like, oh, I already knew Black Hills before from LinkedIn. I was like, oh, I really like what they represent, like what John is trying to create there, and what anti-siphon training is trying to create, that I support people to start and like giving them courses, pay as you can basis, so affordable and not like bootcamp that you spend all your money and at the end you will know nothing, but they actually teach you and like, yeah, that's like amazing. So I met John and like all those people, like one of the employees came to listen to my presentation. I was talking about social engineering for cover access engagements because I'm like, like my obsession now, social engineering. And they said, okay, that presentation was really good. I have some feedback for you, how to make it better. But overall, it was amazing. And so like few people, yeah, talked about me to John, and like John liked me because we met, we talked as well. And then I got hired by Black Hills to work at an anti-SOC. So pretty much continuous penetration testing. And yeah, like now I'm here. Yeah, I guess that's the end of story.
No, that's not the end of the story. That's the end of the story for now. But yeah, that's pretty awesome, and you really found a good place to work for. I've been a big fan of Black Hills for many years. I like that they provide training pay what you can, and some of the if you can't afford anything, is notice sometimes that they got opportunities where you don't have to pay in low price compared to some of the more expensive trainings and stuff. And I really like his mission because I went to Wild West Hacking Fest back in 2022, and just you know, it's definitely you're seeing that he's not trying to make money off that conference. He's trying to you know provide education and a way for people to network and not really in it for the money. So that's really great. So what areas are you really passionate about that you're focusing on more these days?
Actually, yeah. So I really like creating content. Like I discovered that for myself when I started the podcast. So I'm really focusing. I started a blog recently as well, like maybe like a week or 2 weeks ago. I have 5 posts already. So I'm really like focusing on social engineering. I have 3 certifications in cover access, like elicitation, physical and testing. So that area is like really fascinating to me because you're like James Bond and you're testing like physical security of a company. And it's like really mind blowing that for me that I was like already a pen tester. I know like all the vulnerabilities and attacks, all that. And it's like the internet is a dangerous place. But actually, if you like believe that the internet is the only place that you can be like attacked from, that's a big mistake because then like so what if someone like just enters your building and yeah, it, like pretty much sneaks into your server room, and then what happens is like yeah, you're in trouble, right? Because they can destroy everything. So I mean that's like my passion right now, and I'm like learning. And I purchased like on DevCon, I purchased a lot of books on that topic as well. I want to read them, and one of like the person like I really like is in the area is Brian Harris, because he's like the cover access team is the place where I got certified in. And also like Lena Cisco, she was an interrogator for United States agency. I don't remember which one, but she's a really knowledgeable person and wrote I think 5 books on that topic, like dark psychology of social, not exactly social engineering, but like dark psychology of like manipulation and like getting the information from people by talking with them and like talking, like being friendly and like using all the elicitation techniques, all that stuff. So that's really scary for me because I used to be like a very trusting person, and I see like, yeah, sometimes someone can be like even if I approach someone and I look like very like, I don't know, in my opinion at least, I look trustworthy and like a nice person. Like you look at my face and you see like you're smiling. She has like a genuine interest in what I'm talking about. Like but actually I could be trying to pull information from you, and it's like a facade, like. I'm really like that, but just like as an example, that can be like really scary to like experience like if someone is like that, and also I had like met some people that were at first glance they seemed to be good people, and but it was just like a mask, and underneath they were a wolf, and like they were like really like manipulating, gaslighting people, and like not a nice not a nice person. So yeah, actually like that's like really like interesting to me how you can manipulate someone, like how can you hack someone's brain really by normal conversation pretty much, and like just asking the right questions, putting a conversation to the right tracks, and like and even like a scenario is what you're wearing, like your pretext is important, or is it like the conversation taking place in like a social club or like relaxed place, or maybe at the workplace, and like all those situations can also like add to like you pulling out more information from another person.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that people trust people, and they just think they automatically trust people. I was sharing this story with I think I was, yeah, with some friends recently because I used to work before I ever got into security or anything or IT. I worked in a jewelry store once, and there was an elderly man that came into the jewelry store, and his watch was broken. The crown, the little piece where you adjust the time on the watch, was was off. He didn't have it, and I thought maybe that I could set the watch for him. And when I took his watch, I wasn't able to set it, and the guy accused me of breaking his watch. He came in with the pretext or the intent of hoping to get his watch repaired for free. And it's just funny that sometimes that we just kind of expect someone that's not trustworthy to be younger. You don't expect someone that's older, it looks like a grandfather, to be dishonest. But that's the interesting thing about the human psychology. And I'm sure you've learned a lot around that area. How is it to get people to trust you? Is that kind of difficult, or is that something that you've been able to kind of improve over your time?
So yeah, I wanted to talk first about the elderly men. So there are like few characteristics of people that you trust automatically. So the elderly man would be one of them, but maybe a woman, for example, a pregnant woman is someone that you will not suspect of like being a malicious intent, or like someone that is like maybe a bit frazzled, like a female that is frazzled. So you have like automatically you want to help her, and also like maybe someone that acts like inexperienced, like someone that just has like their first job might be like, oh, he's like, I want to help them, they know nothing about life. So but if you see like a man or like a group of men, then you think, okay, they're like up to something. Sometimes, I mean, not always, you know. So I think maybe a female would be good for like engagements like that, for like social engineering. But like how to get people to trust you better is first you have to build rapport and start talking. Like you have to do research on the person so you know what to talk about. But sometimes you can just go like freestyle and like get good results as well. And then you have to know like what their like interests are, like what they're like, or maybe what you should not ask, or maybe like first favorite sports team, or like favorite music band, or maybe favorite TV show. And then you can start talking about their common interests, and like in a genuine, like maybe you have the same interest as them, so then will be genuine, or like just pretend that you like that. Or maybe if they have like a very niche interest that is like very rare, so you can like learn more about that, so that they will be like really blown away and like ecstatic and happy that they actually can talk to someone about this topic, because it's like very rare and no one really knows about that. So that will be another thing that you could try to leverage to gain their trust. And so pretty much body language can help you a lot, like building rapport with like getting them to like you, and like talking about commonalities and like the things that you already know they like. Uh, Trying to maybe sometimes you can compliment them and say, "Oh, you know really a lot about this topic. You're like so impressive. You know this, you're not." And then yeah, start building their ego up. Depends on the person what they will react on actually. But also it depends on the situation actually. And sometimes you have to watch the body language, because if you're smiling to the person, then make sure that your eyes are smiling as well. Otherwise the smile will like look not genuine, like fake. So, and like I heard like tilting your head a bit to the side, or like exposing your neck is something that makes you like makes the other person to trust you more, because you're like posing yourself in a vulnerable situation, like exposing your neck. In nature is like you can get attacked on your neck, you have like vital or like veins here. But if you like yeah, so that could be something like body language, and like being friendly, not like this closed position, but like being like open and stuff like that, I think.
So for someone that want to get into physical pen testing or social engineering, what are your recommendations?
From what I experienced is like you should probably look for a company that does pen testing, and then research if they are doing social engineering engagement and physical engagement as well. So that could be your entry point to that industry, kind of, because it's not like really available to. I mean, not. I don't know how to answer exactly, but I don't think it's like available from for people that just graduated. You have to have experience first and work as a pen tester, or like get hired in a company that is doing engagements like that, and maybe ask them, "Oh, I really am interested in that. can I shadow you guys on one of the engagements? I think that could be one of the entry points. And also from the training, Brian told us, because I asked myself, because I really wanted to do that professionally as well. And he mentioned like, oh, if you work for a big company, like I was working for a big corporation then, and so you can go even like for a small one, and maybe that would be easier as well. So you can approach your employer and ask, oh, can I perform a physical audit in our like office for free, just to like learn things and for my own experience. And sometimes they can say yes, and then you can show them the report, and like that will be, like added value for them, that they have an employee that did that for free, and they already see all the like security flaws and what they can like change. So maybe you found like the camera system has a blind like spots, and someone could sneak under the cameras unnoticed in a way, and get to like a room, like maybe conference room or a room like research and development without being noticed, because the camera angles are like a bit wonky, or maybe you glued the camera with the tape over and no one reacted, or you glued the latch of the door with the tape and you created persistence for yourself and no one noticed. So that's like things that you can take note of, and also like use to get back to the building like later and like test like, from like a different perspective. And so I hope that answers your question.
Sure. Yeah, one of the things I want to do is make sure we didn't miss out on the opportunity to discuss your podcast. If you wouldn't mind sharing about your podcast.
So actually, it's like in the background here. It's like Woman in Red presents. Woman in Red is like, I have it here, is like a brand I'm trying to create for myself, and it's based partially on a story that Brian Harris told us on the training, and partially on the Woman in Red from the Matrix. So the story, I will quickly tell the story. So there is like, he was on an engagement in a bank, and he had a friend that came with him. But at first he entered the building first and like started walking around and like drinking coffee, looking at the security guards, what are like the security measures, what are the gate lag, what like are they scanning the badges, what the badges on the gate, like what is like happening there, and where the cameras are placed. And then the friend came and she was wearing a red dress, and everyone started looking at her because she was like very attractive, and the dress was like, everyone was really business casual, so the color of the dress was like really pulling attention to her. And she started like walk to a middle of the lobby and dropped documents on the middle of the lobby and started picking up them chaotically. So some people rushed to help her, and like everyone was looking at her pretty much. And that was the moment that he used to jump the turnstile. And that story was like so inspiring to me. Like I was like, wow, I want to do that. So Women in Red, and then presents ethical hacking, guess, and wholesomeness, because my like what I'm doing on LinkedIn was trying to lead by example and show other women that okay, I'm a female, I entered offensive security by myself, I learned everything by myself, no one really helped me like a lot, like some people like guided me, yes, I admit that, but I mostly did it by myself, and so it's possible, and you can do it too. Guess so. Ethical hacking. That's why, like, I'm showing that, and guess because I met so many amazing people on LinkedIn through like the years. I've been like stepped out of the shadow and started like sharing, and so I wanted to like highlight those people because some of them are still like not very popular, or maybe don't believe in themselves. Like most of my guests are like amazing, and I'm really shocked that they agreed. Like you, like big people in the industry. Some of them are like, I really like want to highlight people that are important to me, that are like really cool, and show other people wholesomeness, because on my LinkedIn, I'm trying to share motivational like messages and like inspirational stories, and like sometimes maybe like a picture with like inspirational text or something like that. Like all together made sense to me, like what I'm doing on LinkedIn already. Maybe the title is like a bit long, but it is what it is. And you cannot probably see it, but like I'm doing that on Twitch. And like last Friday, I had a first stream of a new series that I'm doing like in that like that podcast still exists, but I'm just trying to do it once a month. And in the middle of the month, I'm starting like a new special edition of the podcast called Inspiring Ladies of Tech Cyber. Let's say that again, Inspiring Ladies of Cyber. So to highlight the females that are like CEOs that have made it happen for themselves, to show other women that, okay, this is possible. You just have to keep on trying, believe in yourself. Don't like, take no for an answer and just like keep on pushing. And that's what I'm trying to achieve, to show other women, to show that like successful females in the industry exist, and we are like, we are doing well. And that's what I'm trying to achieve here with the podcast. I don't have like a huge following yet, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, I believe you'll get there, and I really like your branding, the whole logo and all that, and the woman in red. And I like also that the red can also, associates with red team as well, and you're doing red
Yeah,
teaming.
that
So
that
that's
was
yeah. So you said you kind of did some marketing and stuff. That was this kind of the talent that help you figure out your personal branding because, the logo, the name of the show, and just your personal branding in general is really good branding. I mean, you did a really good job. So did the marketing that you had worked in for a while, did that help you?
I mean, I think I just did it by like by heart. I don't know. So I guess maybe I'm a natural talent in marketing or something. But I think maybe the studies I did some years ago also helped me because I had a bachelor's degree in marketing and management. So I think maybe something that I already was liked before and like kind of like forget and like got really like immersed into the technical words. But even like before when I started, if you see like the Wonder Woman costume in here, I branded myself as Wonder Woman. I had like the image on LinkedIn in a Wonder Woman costume, and people started calling me because I was sharing a lot of like try hack me labs and like what certifications I got, and people started me calling me Wonder Woman of Cyber, and so that was pretty cool. And I think that also got me because I wanted to stand out from the crowd, and everyone on LinkedIn at the time when I was started doing that were wearing white shirts and like like tie, very official, very professional. And I wanted to stand out and like do something different because I never wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to be myself and like be unique, and that was my kind of like maybe way of saying that okay, I'm special, I'm unique, I'm amazing, and I believe that I am. And so the red cape says, like, look at me because it was red as well. But then I figured out, okay, but Wonder Woman is a branding that belongs to a company, and I cannot use it for like a commercial reasons. Cannot create like a. At first, I had actually started streaming with Wonder Woman D hacks, something like that. But then I figured out, no, I cannot. When I will reach affiliate level on Twitch, I cannot really do it like that. I have to create my own brand. So I wanted to go and create something that is more me and like makes sense for me. So I love red teaming. So hence, like as you already discovered yourself, was like part of the idea. So because I wanted to like create also like a blog, uh, and create content that is surrounded like that is in the vicinity of red teaming, of offensive security, of physical pen testing, physical audits, social engineering. So that's like really very hacker mindset, very like attacker side of things. So I guess it makes sense. And maybe you're right. And like what I experienced so far, my previous studies and maybe some of my previous like work experiences added to that because I created everything myself. I don't have people that are doing that for me. And so, actually that was a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really interesting, your story and just kind of your branding and how you got into content creation because it's interesting some of the skills we have are that we develop outside of our job that we're able to leverage later on. I mean, just because just like your personal branding, your speaking and the podcasting is going to get you more visibility, more attention. And, it's one of these things that if something ever happened that you had to find another job again because of layoffs or something, then you would probably be able to find a job fairly easy because people know who you are now compared to one time before when you weren't as well known. But that definitely helps. And so I think that's a good message to be sharing with people out there. I really like the fact that you're doing the special edition of your podcast each month to help promote and encourage women, because encouragement is like one of the biggest things. Education is super important, but to me, one of the things that I think is equally as important is the encouragement part. And that's one of the reasons that I have people share their origin stories on here, because I've had people that start out, I had a friend of mine that we did CAD drafting. So we did AutoCAD together, and that's how we met. And one of his episodes, from time to time, people that worked doing AutoCAD, they were trying to get into cybersecurity, would comment on those episodes. So when you share your experiences, your background, where you started from, it's a good way to encourage others. And so I like what you're doing. You know, you're going to help encourage a lot of folks and give them the confidence to pursue their dreams.
Yeah, I hope so. And like also, I'm really like proud of myself as well, because I realized it was like 9 years of me getting to where I am, right? Right. Yeah, not like an overnight success. So, but I'm trying to say that it's worth it. So, although it might be difficult and you want to give up a lot of times along the way, but just don't, and like it will be worth it in the end. And I had a lot of doubts, like, and questioning my life choices, like maybe pen testing is not for me, or maybe it's too difficult, or maybe I'm too old, or like I don't know, I'm not smart enough. And I had all of those thoughts, but ultimately, I know I can make it happen for myself, and I'm smart and I'm capable. And maybe sometimes I will not understand something straight away, but I will watch the video or read more, and then I will understand it, and it will click for me eventually. So yeah, I just know that yeah, sometimes you just have to put some effort into going after your dreams and like going like after the life you want for yourself, but it's going to be worth it. And so although it's heavy, I already said that, like heavy, it's hard and like it's difficult, a lot of sweat, tears, and maybe sometimes blood, I don't know. But it's more heavy and more hard if you stay in the same place and you do nothing, and then 20 years passed and you say, oh, I could have done that, and now it's too late. Or I mean, it's never too late. You can start any, like every day you wake up, it's you can start something else and like do something different in your life. So yeah, I think we need to have that beginner mindset, kind of like growth mindset, that yeah, life is not for us to work at one job and then die and pay taxes, and that's it. But life is for being happy and doing what you love, and yeah, doing exciting things, and yeah, feeling like satisfied with like yeah, your life and what you're achieving out there, and also like the people you meet. So I sometimes have this like mistake of being too much in the hermit mode. So I push people away because yeah, I need to be on my own for now. But then I emerge and I go back, because like I see that where the point of life is like being surrounded with good people and not being on your own. So struggling. So yeah, that's what I believe.
Well, thanks for joining, and that's a great message, and I like what you're doing, and I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule. I know it's kind of late where you're at, so thanks. And we'll be sharing in the show notes your social media and the links to your podcast so people can find that.
Thank you, and I appreciate you inviting me to your podcast.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you on. I appreciate you joining. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to The Phillip Wylie Show. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, to learn more about Phillip, go to thehackermaker.com and connect with him on LinkedIn and Twitter at Phillip Wylie. Until next time.